Okay, Lambda with S3 event notifications. This is one of my favorite topics because it's so simple to understand, but it's actually super useful. So we've got some files going into an S3 bucket and we want to do some operations on them using Lambda. What we can do is we can use an S3 event notification to trigger a Lambda function. And we can do basically anything we want with that. We might have some images that we want to resize. We might have some documents that we want to convert for use by a generative AI model. All of these use cases can be dealt with through S3 event notifications. Once we've processed the file, we can do anything we want with the Lambda function, which includes obviously writing it back to S3. One thing you need to be extremely careful of is that what you don't do is have your Lambda function read from a bucket, write back to the same bucket, and end up in an infinite loop where it keeps triggering itself. It can get very expensive very quickly. AWS support are generally good the first time you accidentally do that and will refund the charges, and you can rack up significant charges very quickly, but something you definitely want to be aware of when you're practicing. So here we're showing the file getting processed and put into a separate bucket. I would suggest that's probably a good idea because then you know that you're not going to accidentally re-trigger the Lambda function. We can actually also filter how we process files. So we can add a prefix filter or a suffix filter. So we could say, right, we're only interested in files that are .pdf and we're going to write them out in a different format. So they're not going to get picked up again. Or we can say, right, we just want, we have an input prefix within our bucket, and files that get written into the prefix input are processed, and then we write back to the same bucket but in output, and it doesn't get processed again. Obviously, the messages we send to Lambda about the file that got uploaded is just a JSON event. It looks very much like the events you will see in CloudTrail. And we need to have appropriate IAM policies that allow the Lambda function to be executed from the S3 event. Here are some notes for you. Until next time, enjoy the cloud.